I haven't been able to get to any recaps. I mean, I did do like a little one. I think, what are we, Monday today? Saturday. I did like a very brief recap on Saturday, but that was not really a recap of the show. It was just like a recap of this Angela situation. But honestly, the first week of Big Brother has been the Angela show, and starring Matt and Tucker. So that's what most of the show has been about. I mean, there's been some other storylines. There's been like some small side alliances forming. But the main thing is, I think this is the case pretty much every season. People with big mouths who feel like they have big games come into the game and they're like, this is how it's gonna go. We're gonna run things. We're gonna do this and that. Nobody's gonna be able to stop us. And then all of a sudden, within the first few weeks, they're out because you don't want to announce yourself as, oh, I'm gonna be the next Dan Giesling. I'm gonna be the next Derek. Like, I'm gonna be Kesar or like Dr. Will or. Those are the people that usually, if they happen to get power, like Frenchie got power early, Daniel got power early. I'm not necessarily calling Angela either of those people because she's not somebody who I tend to feel like came into the house like that. I feel more like she got into the house and it brought out the worst parts of her. Some of the worst parts of her. So getting to that. Yesterday's episode. The Sunday episodes usually give nothing, but now with the fact that I don't even know if the feeds are actually live. I don't know if the feeds are live or if they're delayed. I wouldn't be surprised if the feeds are delayed. And I honestly think that they must be, because how do they get ahead of these things to cut them out of our footage? So we kept hearing about this conversation between Matt and Angela, but nobody actually saw the conversation. So we're sitting here debating about other conversations that they've had or things that happened before or after, but nobody has the main thing that has been talked about for days now, about how he verbally, aggressively threatened Angela, according to her. So we get into the episode and it shows this clip of them speaking in the room. And they were having a conversation and he was basically telling her, I wouldn't suggest or recommend that I'm the person that you put up. Because he was basically saying, based on the standing, whether right or wrong, this is just his view of things. Based on the standing and the influence that I have in the house and my ability to potentially win and come after you, I don't think that would be the smartest choice. Now, can you say that that is arrogant? Absolutely. Can you say that that is good gameplay? Or bad gameplay, rather? You could absolutely say that, because I wouldn't have used that angle. It's too early, I understand that angle later on when you are on the line. I feel like things like that are better said when you're like, I am most likely going home. I've tried the political route. It seems like it's not working. It seems like I'm behind the 8 ball here. So let me really try to do anything that I can say to get the HOH to change their mind, because I know the votes are against me. Like I said, it's too early. And I feel like there was more that he could have done in terms of going around talking to other house guests versus telling her, like, I'm basically a stronger player than you and I'm more well liked. But the thing that I don't like about the whole thing is not even that. It's just the fact that she framed it like he threatened her, not a game threat. Because I find that game threats are different than the way she described their conversation. She described their conversation almost as if he made her feel scared. He made her feel intimidated as a woman and as a woman who's older than him. And like he used body language and raised his voice and that kind of stuff. That's the thing that I don't like about the way she described it versus what I actually saw. Because when I was looking at it, they were laying on the HOH bed. They were each holding a pillow. She clearly didn't like what he said, right? She didn't like the fact that he said, if you put me up, it's not a good choice because I think I have the votes to stay, and then I could possibly go the route of winning the HOH and then putting you up. She didn't like that, but I think she's I don't think she's like a timid old lady, and I think she said her piece in that moment. And I think that based on the other stuff that they showed at the beginning of the episode, where she was talking about Matt early on. Oh, look at his crazy eyes. Before she even yelled at him, she was like, oh, he's so arrogant. He thinks he's this and he thinks he's that. So she felt that way about him before any of this happened. And you know that when you already don't like somebody, you can create a whole thesis around them and you can add bits and pieces. And when this conversation happened, the combination of her not liking him, her not liking what was said in the conversation, and then thirdly, what other people were telling her third party, was this perfect storm for her to just unleash this rant that she's been wanting to unleash from day one, but not feeling like she had enough of a reason to do this. Then she had her agent of chaos, which has been Tucker, go around, even though he was not a part of that conversation, even though he was not in that room, and tell everybody, I believe that. I believe that he threatened her. I believe that, as a man, he basically like towered over her and made her feel scared and intimidated and raised his voice. And then he was like, oh, it's about body language. And I'm looking at the clip, I'm looking at the episode, I'm like, I don't see the threatening body language. I do not see the threatening body language. Unless she looks in his eyes and his eyes intimidate her. And that's the body language. His eyes are the body language. But aside from that, I just don't see it. What else? I think that, so there's people that start out and play the game real aggressively. There's people that kind of play the fence. And there's people that are just passive and happy to be there. And we're kind of seeing all those things get distinguished. But I think that a lot of things are sorted out early, within the first 3 to 5 weeks. And I think that a lot of things are going to be sorted out here in the first 3 to 5 weeks. And that's all I got for now. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Talk to you.